Hey everybody, welcome to a video that I am making just so I can justify making or spending money on myself. And it's the new Warhammer Snagga box. I actually got the pre-order, which means that it's Orc Codex Day, sort of. It officially releases in like 2 weeks, but you can get it early in this box, which is limited edition and almost impossible to get, so I'm lucky that I was able to get it. We'll get into like the more specifics. I'm just going to show off the box. I'm going to show off the contents, and then we're going to talk about the book a little bit, just because that's worth talking about. So, should be noted that it has been leaked pretty extensively on the internet, and so there's not a lot that's out there that I need to say that hasn't already been said. But I'm gonna say it anyway, because I've been playing some practice games with it on Tabletop Sim with the new models. Big thanks to G-Dubs for making the worst release ever. I don't know what they were thinking doing this way, where it's like you can't get it necessarily. We got what's his name on the Great White Squig. He's good, just so you know. Don't worry, if you're a regular watcher of this, there's going to be a regular. I'm just doing this in addition. So there's a lot to go over as far as the Codex goes, I feel like. I would say it's not AdMech level of good, but it is good. It's a very solid set. So let's take a look at these fruits. Bring in my scrapjet here just so you guys can have a bit of a frame of reference on how big everything is. This is Snagga, I would assume. He is probably the only part of this box that I'm just like, why do you exist? I mean, just generally speaking with this guy, why do you exist? Am I gonna build him, paint him? Sure. Never use him. He's just gonna sit on a box or in a display case somewhere and just hang out. This is one of the boys, probably one of the Snagga boys, or not Snagga boys, the Squig Hog Riders. These guys are great. Just for a reference, looks like, you know, that on the size scale things. They're pretty big. Let me see if I can find their base. So probably Zogwarts, and that looks like, and this is the Bomb Squig. You got the Squig Hog Rider. I believe this is just a regular, yeah, so that's the same as the Warbiker base there, just so you know. This is my Warboss on bike that I can't bash. So that's how big those guys are. And then the rest of them are on 32s. I'm also going to check and make sure. I know it's been rumored for a bit, but I believe it's true. The Snagga boys are probably just one sprue twice. So let's see if we can find that. So yeah, here's the little glyph thing there. There's the little glyph thing there. It looks like it's two of the same set of sprues. So I'd imagine when they come out with the individually packed ones, that they're going to come in a set of 10. I would bet that that's going to be in the $50 region, just because that's how GW is pricing stuff lately. I'll probably do a live stream after this goes live of just me messing around with it, so that way if you have any questions. Oh, it's nice. Just a little piece of poster art. Am I supposed to get 2 of these? I guess I did. Okay. Sure. And then here's the instructions on how to put these dudes together. Cool. Data cards are going to have the same information, so I'm not going to unpack them right now. I'll look at them later. There's going to be a few jump cuts in here. I apologize, but it's just to make up for the fact that I am bad at opening things, I guess. I haven't done an unboxing before. If you like this, let me know. If you like my style of content, let me know. This is obviously not the kind of normal thing that I do here on this channel. I don't normally talk about Warhammer. Okay, that's a lie. I talk about Warhammer all the time on Twitch, twitch.tv/RevScarecrow, but not all the time. Cool. So, book. Okay, cool. So, this is fluff. I couldn't find the thing that I was looking for. I'll probably spend a moment trying to find it, and I might talk about it in the stream I'm going to do here in a second. But what I was trying to find was whether or not it made any reference to the Tyranids landing on believe it's... Is it Octarius? It's one of the planets in the Octarius system. And if it's already referencing them that, then cool. If not, then it's... I don't know. It's weird release schedule. Because it's like, were they intending for these Warzone stuff to come out at the same time as these books? I have a feeling they didn't. But things got pushed forward because of the plague. But I don't know. Alright, so here's a little spoiler on the combat patrol. Looks like it's going to be boys, Warboss and Mega Armor, Def Dread, and the new Def Copters. That's an alright kit, honestly. So, real quickie review on all the stuff that I feel like is going on in this book. Honestly, it's all pretty okay, with a few exceptions. I think there's definitely some issues that need to be errated. I'll show you one right now. So, Mad Doc Rotsnick, he's a specialist lad, sure. He's a named character. So he's in this named character list, right? He's got to have a certain Warlord trait? No, he's not. I don't know why. He's just not. The kill rig has to take Beast Gob, which I know a lot of people are excited about giving him. The Bad Moon specific, was it best armor that Teeth can buy? Can't do that. That sucks. But that's not a bad Warlord trait. I just wouldn't go out of my way to give it to him. And you're going to want a war boss to be your actual warlord and give warlord traits to other people. Because you can do that now. That's a nice thing about this new codex, is you can have 2 in 2,000 point games, 1 in 1,000 point games, and 3 in a 3,000 point plus game. So here's a big deal. There's a couple things that I want to point out that are kind of annoying. First off, when you're building lists, it's going to be really hard to try and figure out how to build a list that doesn't involve multiple detachments. And we'll get into why that's a bit of a nerf here in a minute. But there's about a 50-50 split of HQs that are Warboss slash Death Killer War Trikes and other HQs that are not. Which means that you're going to be forced to bring some of these other HQs and or use patrols and stuff like that. It's going to be a little awkward in your list build, and that's important. All right, so clans. Here is probably the most important sentence that you need to know that no one's talking about. Each clan is associated with the clan stratagem. If your army is led by Orcs Clan Warlord, so let's say Bad Moons. If your Orcs Clan or Bad Moons Warlord, you can spend command points to use this stratagem in addition to those on pages 62 and 64. That implies that if I've got a Bad Moons Warlord, I cannot use the Goff's stratagem. And as far as I know, that is new to standard stuff. Otherwise, Gretchen don't get clan traits. I know people were expecting them to because they just wanted them to, I guess. So picking which stratagem you want is pretty important when you're picking your warlord. As far as the clans go, Goffs are incredible. I don't like their relic or their warlord trait, but their stratagem is good and their regular culture is good. Basically, it adds +1 to hit when you think about it. Unmodified 6s score an extra hit. This is 5s and 6s do that. It is brutal. You will murk pretty much anything you run into. And in addition, you get +1 strength. So when you're thinking about it, I played a game and I was using a boss knob with a big choppa. So he goes from strength 5 to strength 7 because +2 from the big choppa, +1 because he's Goff on the charge. So he's strength 8, AP -2, or AP -1, 2 damage. That's good. And that's free. That's 5 points and choosing Goff. I think Goff is one of the better ones because of Unbridled Carnage. You'll probably choose it from Warlord trait. And this is funny, but I don't know if you'll get much use out of it. Bad Moons. This is... Oh, I like it. I like it less that I have to have necessarily my Warlord be it. This Relic sucks. Whatever. That's a great Warlord trait. This is a little bit of an awkward culture. I had originally planned to use Bad Moons more extensively, but because I can't, as far as I can tell, with the wording of this sentence here, not use showing off because I've got like an Evil Sun's Warlord or something. This is a little less good. The extra 6-inch range is nice because there's a lot of guns that are DACA, a lot of guns that are heavy. In fact, a majority of your codex is going to be that. There's very few assault or pistols left. The extra AP is nice. I find that one sort of trait of 9th edition is that everyone's got an invuln now. So it's kind of whatever. Evil Sons, I am less excited about their initial bit. Because like being able to fire and advance assault weapons, neat. Warlord Traits, cool. Command phase, Evil Sons core. Let's talk about core, I guess. Core units, because it's gonna come up. Boys are core. Beast Snagga boys are core. Commandos are core. Mega Knobs are core. Tank Busters core. Burner boys core. Knobs core. Storm boys core. Squighog boys core. Warbikers core. Ludas core. That's it. Those are your core units. If you were expecting something else, as far as I could understand with the leak, which this looks exactly like the leak, that's it. So anyway, in your command phase, select one Evil Sons core unit within 6 of this model. They're eligible to charge even if they advance or fell back. Cool. Good. That's great. I think you could do some really silly stuff with the knob on Squig or whatever it is that does mortal wounds whenever it charges. That's hilarious. Is that good? I don't know, but not really, but it's funny. Drive-by DACA, 1 CP is excellent. I think this is going to be why my Warlord is Evil Sons, just because of this bit here and this stratagem being really nice. You can shoot a Speed Freak after moving him. That sounds pretty good to me. The Speed Freaks list is pretty much the buggies, the Death Coptas, that kind of thing. And then this relic is absolutely hilarious, and I'm going to be giving it to a kill rig once we have those, because that base, I think, is going to be a Titan's base, from what everyone's been talking about. When they were talking about it on the preview, they were talking about how it's as big as a Baneblade, I think they said. The kill rig in, and then everything has fight left. That's cool! That's really cool, you know? So what exactly I'm going to use Drive-by DACA on, I'm still trying to figure out. Originally, I thought that this was just Evil Sons vehicles, in which case you could just do some really silly shenanigans with a kill rig, but no. Snake bites. Everyone's going really crazy about snake bites, and I do not get it. And I think it's just because, from a competitive sense, most of the time you see strength 4, 5 weapons. Your boys are toughness 5, so most things are right now woundy on probably like 5s. A lot of like regular anti-infantry stuff. So your trait. Each time an attack is made against a unit with this culture, unless the attack has a strength characteristic of 8 or more, an unmodified of 1 or through 3 fails, irrespective. So no veterans, I guess, on your Morkanaut, Gorkanaut, Stompas. I think snake bites really lean into probably using, you know, all of one very specific toughness value. Either go like all T5 or T6 kind of stuff, and that way the, 20% of the enemy army that's using, anti-tank stuff can't actually achieve much. There's the occasional strength 9-10 weapon in this game, but honestly, how often does that come up? Like, I played a game with Snakebite, and it didn't really, I think it came up like once during the entire game. And so it's just like, I don't know about that one. Stand back up trait, anti-psyker trait. I wish, and one of the biggest reasons that the Runherd character can't do much is because he is clan locked to Snakebites, and so I'm like, hey, cool, I'll just throw him into a list because you can. He doesn't break detachments. I'll just put him in. I'll have Mystic Chanting, so that way I can have anti-psyker protection without bringing psykers. Cool, yeah? But that doesn't work because I don't have my Warlord as a Snakebite. Because I'm not going to do that. Brog's Buzz Bomb got nerfed, so that way it doesn't have game-breaking implications where it works forever. Probably for the best. No one ever exploited that because Snakebites were so god-awful in 8th that no one bothered. Death Skulls, couple misconceptions here. They still keep objectives cured. They lose the 6-up invuln and gain a 5-up against mortal wounds. I think it's fine that they lost the 6-up because honestly, with this codex, so many things have invulns. Like all of the war bosses have a 5-up. All the Beast Snagga stuff has a 6-up. In tradition, with everything in 9th edition, everything's going to have an invuln of some sort, so there's no real point of them even having that. So they really just lost the ability to reroll both a wound and hit and damage, and now it's just hit or wound. Death Skulls, I don't think would be your Warlord most likely, because the Warlord trait is just okay. I don't really see using it, because the Lookout Sir thing is not... What are you doing shooting with an orc in the first place? Like, what? No, you're not gonna have your Warlord have Opportunist. And that's all the more reason why it's weird that, like, Mad Dog Krotsnik doesn't have one. I have a feeling that's a mistake. We'll get into the other mistakes in a minute. Wreckers is now +1 to wound rather than reroll all failed wounds. This is only locked to Big Mechs, which means the Kill Rig can't have it, which is sad because he would love it. But it's still good. It is still good because when a Big Mech repairs stuff, it's not clan locked anymore. So if you want to have your Kill Rig be something else, and you give this relic to, I don't know, whatever, a KFF or something that's falling behind the Kill Rig, then you could have him do the heal. That's neat. It also does this weird D3 Mortals thing. Neat. But honestly, I'm probably going to keep splashing in a little bit of Death Skulls in my army just to have the rerolls and the OBSEC. I think that's good. I still think that's solid. Blood Axes. Oh, Blood Axes. They're better. They are better. The culture still sucks. I think it's exactly the same. But the board is smaller, so being 18 inches away is harder than ever. I've Got a Plan, Lads is different. You get to redeploy. The important bit about this is after you figure out after you're done doing all the reserves, but before you figure out who's got the first turn, you then redeploy them. Cool things you can do with this. Frontline some commandos. Put a Stompa in Deep Strike for free. There's some possibilities there. I don't know what you could do with it, but I feel like there's some cool stuff you could do with it, and it needs some experimentation. If you have a Blood Axe detachment, you should be taking this relic, by the way. Because even if you already have a relic, unless if you've already got 2 relics, you should be taking this because on a 4-up, it gives you a command point every turn. So on average, it's going to give you 2.5. So, like, it's going to pay for itself most games. Great. Dead Sneaky allows you to walk off the board with Blood Axe infantry, except for Mega Armor. Good for, like, scramblers, that kind of thing, though I don't know how much you're going to be using those. Freebooters. Couple things that they've changed about the clan culture. First off, you don't have to be within 6. That's nice. Very nice. Additionally, there's no cap. You can keep adding 1 to hit, which is, you know, I mean, with 9th edition, you can only have +1. But if you're getting a -1 because you're a tank buster with heavy weapons or a flash get with a heavy weapon, you could go beyond and not have that minus. Or you're shooting at a plane or whatever. You could keep getting those pluses. Is it gonna work? Most games, no, because what happens with freebooters is you tend to kill everything. You have a really good turn where you kill everything, or you just never get to activate it. One of the two happens. Freebooters traded out a pretty good Warlord trait from 8th edition to a really mediocre bad one, and in return got a really good stratagem and a really good relic. The stratagem gives OBSEC, yeah, Death Skulls get it for free. If you're running a Freebooters Warlord, that could be neat, I guess. But the relic here is cool. First off, you can take it on a vehicle, which means, again, the kill rig, which I'm going to be talking about endlessly because it's cool. Just 6-inch aura of you lose OBSEC. So you don't really... I mean, like, you know, this combo helps. It's kind of built in there. But that's rad. That's really cool. Specialist list? Okay, let's talk about specialist lists and some of the biggest bugbears that I've got. Most of them are whatever. Truck boys are great once they fix them. There is a consistent problem in this section that they refer to knob. You can have a boys, knob, or war boss units only. These are keywords, which means that you have to use off the keyword. So what units have the keyword knobs? So you'd think knobs and mega knobs and stuff. Nope. They have knobs with a Z. So they don't get this. They can't have this. There is, however, one unit that does have the knob keyword, and that is the knob with Wog Banner. So you could give that to him. Also, because the Truck Boys changed their clan, you just don't get you can't get in a truck, which kind of defeats the point of this. But once they fix this where you can get in a truck and you can use mega knobs and they can be, that'd be great. Have 2 squads of 3, because you'd have to have 2 detachments, but most likely with this book you're gonna. I think that's fine. I think that's how you run orcs now. And they hop out and they do a first turn charge and you can do some crazy stuff. It sounds great. Move up 12, or was it, I think 11 with Evil Sons, and then you hop out and you move your 3 outside, then 5 plus that. You're getting there. Other ones we're talking about are Sneaky Gets. I think that's neat. When we get into Commandos, I think you can see the use of them. +1 AP and melee when you're benefiting from cover is easier to do than you think. Orrible Gets, I think, has some fringe use. Keep in mind, it does give you a -1 to hit as well within 3 inches. So it's not really good for your back line thing, but otherwise okay. Probably want to use lightly and split it up. So with the Truck Boys, like I said, 1 Mega Knobs unit in 1 unit, 1 Mega Knobs in the other detachment, and that way you can get around the restrictions here. Custom Jobs. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. Nitro Squigs is incredible, and we're going to get into why Recatruck Squig Buggies are so good in a minute, but +1 to wound is awesome. Their weapon is strength 5, so that's a majority of the game that you're going to be wounding on at worst 4s. That's rad. For, 25 points? Sure, I'll do that. You can only have 1, and you can't put it on specialist mobs. But you can get them again if you use the Mech Boy Workshop, which, unironically, I'm going to suggest is actually okay now. And that's weird. The enhanced Runt Sucka is great. And I feel like it makes the Mech with Shock Attack Gun really solid now. Really solid. Because it's 2d3 rather than d6, which means that on average you're going to be getting, 3 shots? No, 4. Yeah, I can do math. You get on average 4 shots, hitting on 4s, because mechs now hit on 4s, which is really cool, as opposed to 3.5 hitting on 4s. This makes him barely equivalent to the old Relic Shock Attack Gun for just 15 points more, and instead of using up your Relic slot, and you can have 2 of them if you bring a Mech Boy Workshop. Considering how much invuln save stuff there exists in 9th edition now, I don't know how good AP5 is, and that's a weird sentence to say, but I did play with him the other day, and he just stood in the back lines on an objective, just sniping away at stuff, and anything he looked at, he destroyed. And he's 125 points if you do the upgrade. I think it's worth. Probably just have 1 and probably have him as Death Skulls. The extra 6-inch range with Bad Moons makes no sense. He's already 60-inch range. Stratagems are good. They changed Grot Shields. It's not clan locked anymore, but it only affects 1 Grot unit. Gun Crazy Show-Offs is now a stratagem rather than just an inbuilt Flash Gets ability. Tie to Muscle is probably the most used one that I've done in my playtest. Orcs Core get to ignore modifiers when charging. The Death Watch stratagem that messes with your charge, by the way, is declared after this. So you select your unit to charge, you use the thing, and then they select whether or not they want to use their ability. So if you're playing Death Watch, you should do that. I think the Custodes one's the same way, the Tanglefoot grenades. So there's that. Ramming speed is still good. Kareen is hilarious. And if you're playing with kill tanks, just in general, honestly, the disembark step is after the explosion. So you can move your truck into a position and then get your boys out after it's exploded. So that's cool. Big Boss is great. Get extra Warlord traits, like I already explained. Extra gubbins, of course. Burn 'em all is bad. Force Field Projector gives your thing a 5-up, but then it breaks for the rest of the game. Tank Busted Bombs are now a stratagem rather than just regular item you have. Just some people are keyworded with Tank Busted Bombs. A lot of the Warlord traits and the Relics are good. I'm just going to say it. There's very few that are just straight up bad, like we had in the old Codex. Like, in the old Codex, it was like To Kill a Claw and then Brutal but Cunning. And that was just like, that was your list. Maybe Artist Nails if you're a crazy person like me and you wanted to have a T8 Warboss on Warbike. Artist Nails is now -1 from the wound roll, which is cool. A lot of these are great. Junkabox gives you a 4-up invuln. There's really nothing here that's really bad. I think the worst of them is probably Cunning but Brutal, and it's still okay. At the start of the fight phase, if this Warlord is in engagement range of any enemy units, it can fight first in that phase. So if you charge, you get to fight first because you charged. But also, if they charge you, you get to fight first because it's their turn, but you get to fight first. Neat. It's not bad, it's just not as good as any of these other ones. Big Gob, unfortunately, does not work on the KFF, I think. We'll get into that in a minute. The rest of this is pretty okay. I don't think that Weird Boys are necessary anymore. This board is so much smaller, I don't think you needed to jump, and I don't think you'll have room for it. But you might need to take a Weird Boy just because of the detachment issues with the war bosses, like I was saying. Never take a Weird Boy. These are great, but just use a kill rig. I mean, all of these are better on the kill rig. The ones that I care about are Frazzle and Squiggly Curse. Select one guy that's within 12 and do mortal wounds to him. Cool. And then select everything within 9 of your big base as a kill rig. And on a 4-up, you take D3 mortal wounds. Just push that into your opponent's line and then go, cool, I'm going to cast Frazzle, and everything dies. That's great. That's cool. Relics. Unfortunately, not very many relics that the kill rig can take. I keep talking about him because I love him. These relics, just like the Warlord traits, all good. Situational, except for, I guess, the Dead Shiny Shooter, which I don't care about. The Kill a Claw no longer rerolls all failed wounds and it just gets an extra AP. That's cool. B-Side Mantle does not work on the kill rig. Head Whopper Kill Chop is great. Yeah, honestly, I see a use for pretty much all of this. Let's talk about the secondaries real quick. Stomp Pump good. If you're going to be playing Goffs, I think in most cases this is good. I played a test game against some Space Wolves, and I decided not to take it for obvious reasons. It was like Space Wolves with like heavy Dreadnought theme, and it was solid, and just not a good idea to use against it. Get the good bits, I think, in missions like, what is it, Battle Lines, where there's an objective right next to your deployment zone. It's good. You select one, your opponent selects 2 of the ones that are in no man's land, and then you can do an action on them, and it completes at the beginning of the next command phase, whatever. It, full turn. You get 3 points for it. If you can do it from your deployment zone, like kind of hide behind some terrain or something, then it's solid. Otherwise, banners might be better even in those situations, because you could just put banners down and then just hold your line. Like Battle Lines, there's 3 in your, immediate area that you could put banners down turn 1 and then push off of and be fine. So, I don't know. It's a weird one. Purge the Enemy. I really want the biggest and the best to work. I tried it with Gaz. Gaz never got to combat, so he didn't do anything. Just your Warlord goes ham on things and you get points for it. Cool. This is probably the one that I'm going to use the most, Green Tide. And I recommend that you put 2 11 bricks of Gretchen in your army. And just put them on either side of your deployment zone. So that way you're getting 3 a turn. I wouldn't make that the only 11-man unit in your army, but you very easily could and reasonably expect to get a pretty decent score with this, assuming that they don't have out of line of sight shooting and you can hide your Gretchen, which they're tiny little models, so you probably can. Let's see. Crusade rules, do not care. Do not care. I have no friends that want to play Crusade with me. I don't care. Don't care. All right. Daka weapons, I know everyone's upset about them, but actually seeing them in action. So what was the Megatrack scrap shed? It used to be 2 big shooters, and I think there were twin big shooters, so it was like 12 or 6 shots. No, it was 6 shots apiece, right? Yeah. So you had 2 of them, so it's 12 shots. If you get a, for example, a scrap jet into combat, it has 20 shots because it's 10 shots in half range. I think it goes with the theme of what they're trying to get you to do with this book, and that is just hit your enemy and go in hard. It's like a tidal wave. That's how it works play now. You're playing as a tidal wave of stuff that gets stuck in, and then you just hold your opponent's board. Ramshackle, I think, is maybe worse. It's good on the tiny vehicles, less good on the bigger stuff, but still usable. All the Speed Freak stuff, pretty much everything outside of the Lord of Wars is going to have Ramshackle if it's a vehicle, which is really funny on Defcopters because I played a Sisters player. They threw some Repentia at my Defcopters and did 1 damage because of Ramshackle. And just, they couldn't get through. So that was great. Mob roll, I know a lot of people are upset about this. It's changed. So now you don't count it as considered being under half strength if you've got another unit that's above half strength. That means you could have a 30-man blob go down to 14, and then you could have, like, I don't know, a 3-man brick of Mega Knobs nearby. And it's like, no, you're good. And you don't take the extra attrition damage. Cool. I think this, and when we get to it, the boys not having the extra attack means that you just don't want to have big bricks of boys anymore. You probably want to have like a couple bricks of over 11 just so you could do Green Tide, but that's about it. 2 WOG options. Speed WA is the shooty one. WA is the fighty one. You want to use WA pretty much all the time, unless if you have Gaz, in which case you can use both. As it stands right now, the War Boss and Warbite can declare both because he's a Speed Boss and a War Boss. That will probably be fixed and errated fairly soon. He is just a weird guy right now. A lot of the Forge World stuff is really weird right now, but that's fine. So like I said, half of these guys are going to be War Boss tagged, so obviously Gaz is War Boss. But I want to talk about a couple things. First off, I love that they use the Mega Armor Big Mech image. And then where is the other one? Yeah. So I love that they show... Okay, so like on the custom force field one, they're like, oh, look, there's the custom force field, man. There it is. And then over on this one, they hide it behind the little frame here. So that way you know that there's a difference. So I don't know if that means that there's not going to be a Big Mech with KFF model coming out. I have one that I kit bash, so it's fine, but that's weird. All of the Big Mechs hit on 4s with their ballistic skill. Irrelevant for the KFF, great for the shock attack gun. This guy slaps. Hate the Weird Boy model, looks dumb. This guy slaps. Probably the best reason to take a Snakebite detachment, because you can't just take him in any detachment because he's too cool. It's more or less the same guy, except for this one's a little bit cheaper. He doesn't have as good of an invuln. I believe this guy's a 4-up. Yeah. And I think that's about it. I think his weapon... Oh, his thing does 4 mortal wounds instead of 3 when you roll a 6 to wounds. I think a Beast Boss on Squigosaur or a Mozrog is going to be in a lot of good lists. Why they use the old busted boys model, I don't know for this. But like I said, they don't get the +1 attack if they're over 20 strong anymore. So there's, as far as I can see, no reason to run big bricks of boys. And instead, I've been running in the competitive games that I've been trying with the leaks, just like 10-man blobs. It gives you more knobs, which is great. And really no downside. So, cool. These Snagga boys, they don't replace the boys. They are just a slightly more expensive version of the same thing. Being able to get the +1 to hit against vehicles and monsters is neat. The 6-up invuln is neat. Do you want to spend an extra 3 points for that all the time? Probably not, but it's good. Again, Knob with Wogbanner being the only person with the keyword Knob. So he's the only Knob that can get in a tank or a truck, assuming that he could actually get into a truck in the first place. Good job, DW. Run Herd, still pointless. Burn Boys, 12-inch on their flamers now, still bad. Mech is fine. I never use them. Tank Bustas, they get +1 to hit against vehicles rather than rerolling all hits. And considering that they're heavy D3 now, that is kind of rough. You might see them in like Bad Moons in order to get that extra range so they don't have to move as much and to get the 6's explode thing. But otherwise, Commandos slap. They're so good. They're so good right now. I ran it was a bit of a meme list. It had 45 Commandos on Tabletop Sim. Deployed them all, because now they don't deep strike. Now they deploy infiltrated, so 9 inches away from your opponent's deploy zone. Went first against Drakari. Probably not a smart plan to put all 45 Commandos on the line against that. Move them 6, because they're still move 6. And then charge them in and absolutely murked everything, because with the Distraction Grot, which is a new upgrade, you can use their Throat Slitters of +1 to wounds all the time. Or at least once per game. And so probably they're going to die, so you probably pop it for turn 1. Biggest buff to Mega Knobs, move 5 now instead of 4. Otherwise, they're basically the same, but honestly, that's rad, and I think they went down in points. Knobs or whatever. Shock Jumps, what happened to you, my dude? I feel so bad for you. Their rocket launcher's heavy, obviously, so they can't shoot that when they advance. They don't have the Fire and Fade strat anymore, unless if you're playing Evil Sons. And they have the custom job upgrade that makes it so that way they don't take mortal wounds when they do the thing, but they don't always do it. So if you're playing Evil Sons, then you're going to be doing it on a 3-up, and that's cool, but Boom Deck of Snazwagon, I haven't looked at you because I'm looking at the Rucker Truck Squig Buggy and the War Bikers. This guy shoots out of line of sight at strength 5, AP2, 2 damage. And one of them gets +1 to hit because it's grot gunned. So he's hitting on 4 with 2d6 shots assault. So you could put him in Evil Sons, advance him, shoot, and then Fire and Fade him with the stratagem. And they deploy as a unit and stay as a unit. So you could roll up, shoot all of it, roll back, and be safe. You've got a 12-inch move plus whatever you roll for the advance. I believe you get +1 to advance still with Evil Sons. This is super annoying, especially if you bring a Mech Boy Workshop, which I just hate that I'm recommending now, to be able to get it to +1 wound on 2 of these guys. That's super annoying. War Bikers are great. They're just great. Funny thing you can do, the jump is now core. These guys are core. You can de-jump War Bikers. Also, everything on this list, you can de-jump. But I think that de-jumping the Squighog Boys and the War Bikers are probably the funniest bits of it. Scrap Jets are fine. Squighog Boys are bikes, but slower and tougher. So they've got a different use, but still kind of similar to bikes. I'm really happy that bikes are good. The fluff behind my casual list is loot bikers that, you know, they're Death Skulls that turn freebooters because blah, blah, blah. Bikes are good, so I can actually run loot bikers as bikers. That's great. Squig Bomb is cool. It's 5 points and kind of worth it to just do mortal wounds. Commandos can get them as well. Death Copters are good now. Anything that got a new model is good. Boys are good. All the Snagga stuff is good because I want to push that. Death Copters are good. You probably have some. I've got 6 of the Black Reach ones that I got off eBay. They got the Big Bomb back. You could, again, be Evil Sons, fly up, drop them off, and fly back in order to do the mortal wounds to somewhere a little bit more tactically. That's cool. You have to take the Custom Mega Blast if you use the Big Bomb. So that's Oh, I should mention. Okay, so where is it? The not Relics. Custom Jobs. Where are you? Extra custom weapons. Funny trick you can do. Bad idea. Found this out the hard way. I tried running Grot Mega Tank with extra custom weapons. Made all of his guns custom Mega Blasters. He killed himself real fast because you roll like a whole bunch of shots. I think it's like 21, 24 on average. And then about 3 or so of those you roll as ones. So he does 3 damage to himself every turn when he shoots. You will kill a knight real good if you can hit. Which I just rolled like crap because, of course, if I'm trying something new, I'm going to roll like crap. But, yeah, you can kill yourself really fast with this ability. Deathcopters can have it as well, but I wouldn't recommend it. Shock Hole is really good. Battle Wagon can have a 5-up. You can also put Gaz in it. He takes up 18 slots out of 20. What you fill those other 2 slots with, I don't know. Considering Gaz is so hard to kill, really the only reason that you would want to do this is to be able to get Gaz up the field faster. Maybe like move this 12 inches and then Gaz pops out the next turn and somehow the battle wagon hasn't been destroyed. I don't know what world that is. I think it's funny he can do that. I don't think it's good. Bonebreaker's fine. You're pretty much unchanged. Killer Cans are a little bit better, if I recall correctly. They have Ramshackle. Pretty much all the vehicles have Ramshackle. Gun Wagon, Battle Wagon, all of it. Mostly irrelevant because it only works against Strength 7 weapons, so it's going to be best, like I said, on the Speed Freak stuff and stuff like Killer Cans because they have low toughness, so you actually probably would use autocannons or something on them. Ludas are kind of whatever. You have to, with the Ludas and the Burner Boys, take a Spana. Bleh. Def Dreads are great now. They lost the Dread Saw because the Dread Saw was basically the same thing as the Dread Claw, and there's no reason for it. They do Dread Mobs, so you can deploy them as 3, and then they walk away from each other. Kill Rig, I cannot talk about this guy enough. A couple misconceptions I've seen going around online. You cannot give him any relic you want. He is a vehicle and can only take vehicle relics, which is very, very limited. He's locked to a very specific Warlord trait. You do not destroy planes that get snagged and can't make their minimum move because they're, unless if you're playing without reserves. I believe it's page 257 that talks about how reserves work. Watch me be right on that. Watch me actually be that much of a nerd. Flash kits are good for one very specific reason. They aren't locked to freebooters anymore, which means that you could put them as bad moons. And you can put them still in, if you notice, go back to the gun wagon, for example. 12 flash kits, clan infantry models, mega, blah, blah, blah. Flash kits count in a different category in the transport thing, which means that you can put flash kits that are bad moons in an Evil Sun's battle wagon and still be able to use. You can do that. That's cool. Hunter Rig is gonna forever be overshadowed by the Werb thing, the Kill Rig, because it has more transport capacity. It's open top for no reason, in my opinion. Because like, when are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you trying to shoot out of a Kill Rig or a Hunter Rig with boys? Like Snagga boys? They have pistols. They have like sluggas. It's whatever. Truck is great once they actually fix the whole truck boy thing. Burner Bomber, what did they do to you? They hurt you so bad. It explodes on 6s now. There's no flying Ed butt anymore. I'm very sad. The Scorcher missiles have a special stratagem where it does mortal wounds in an area around whatever you aim at. You don't have to hit them. Just something you shoot at with your Scorcher missile rack. Don't know about that one. Could be cool. I want it to be cool. It's not. Wazboom Blasterjet is a mech, so it hits on 4s in its top profile. It's a little too expensive in my taste to really get any good value out of, but it's very close to being good. I think when you kit it out in a really cool way, it ends up being almost 300 points, and then it's still just as easy to kill as any other plane. But it is Ramshackle, it is -1 to hit. You can give it a 5-up invuln. It only works on him and other planes. But still. Gorkanaut, Morkanaut, they destroyed by making them Titanic and didn't give them invulns. So that's bad. One thing I should mention about both this KFF on the Morkanaut and the regular KFF. I'm going to read this to you guys. While a friendly Orc unit is within 6 inches of Vera, it has a 6-up invuln save. The range of this aura ability can never be increased unless otherwise specifically stated. That's to reference the stratagem that increases it to 9 inches once per game and then breaks it. And you can't use like the big gob to increase the range. Interesting thing that people are missing out on that. Like people are going, oh, well, you could just have one guy touching it. It's a 6-up invuln. It doesn't say 6-up invuln against ranged attacks. So you just have a 6-up invuln. That's cool. Is that GW making the same mistake they did in War of the Beast or whatever? Maybe, but it would be cool if we just have a 6-up invuln in combat as well. Mech Boy Workshop. Most of this is irrelevant. You have to actually put all of this scrap down, by the way, which is almost impossible to do, I must say. I've put it together on Tabletop Sim, figured out the sizes of everything. You will not be able to deploy this thing on a lot of fields because it takes up too much room and it has to be outside of 3 inches of any terrain piece. So I'll have what he's having is the only bit of this that's worth talking about. The rest of it is just whatever. It is funny that it is unstable position, which means that you can use these random terrain features to block out your back line so your opponent can't deep strike behind you and do whatever shenanigans. That's cool. It can't be destroyed. That's cool. I'll have what he's having. You can have 2 of the same custom job. So you can have 2 guys with the Nitro Squigs. Boss Head Bunker, I'm going to wait and reserve judgment on until I see how big it is. It is like, I want to say 75 points. And it has some really neat guns that 1 auto hits, I believe. Right? No. Yeah, no, the Squint auto hits, and this one does not. I think as Bad Moons, you could have like 30 of these guys in your deployment zone and like have the dumbest meme army possible. Depending on how big he is, depends on whether or not he's good or not. But 12 wounds, 8 toughness, with a pretty good auto-hitting Strength 9 AP4 3 damage gun that hits everything in between him and the next guy. Cool, I guess. Weapon profiles, you need to get it actually yourself to figure it out. Points values, turning the page very slow. Okay, cool. And that's it. Unfortunately, DACA weapons do not get the ability to advance and shoot. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All in all, I think it's probably a top of A tier army rather than a S tier army. How long was this video? Like an hour, Jesus. All right, well, I better go ahead and get this guy posted so that way the regular video doesn't get suppressed because of this one. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Either way, I feel pretty good about my purchase. I'm gonna go build some boys now. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye.